one whom I still admire, a great friend and a mentor. While I am elated to stand before you here this evening, expeditiously I realize that I stand not in my own potency, but on the shoulders of so many who came before me. What Frank C. Carr has started and you have continued to perpetuate has indeed changed my life. When combined with the opportunities of a great company like United Technologies, make for all the difference in a fruitful and worthwhile professional experience. So I thank you this evening for this award.
Congratulations again, and thank you, Curtis. And now, the final 2013 INROADS Legacy Award recipient. He began his career with Otis Elevator in the summer of 1994, and over the years, he has worked for Pratt & Whitney, Sikorsky, and the corporate office of United Technologies Corporation. He has a bachelor's degree in finance from Adelphi University and an MBA from George Washington University. As a Chicago native who spent most of his formative years in Connecticut, he became an intern in the Greater Hartford affiliate of INROADS in 1993. Launching his career through INROADS had a significant impact on his work ethic and his service to the community, which helped prepare him for corporate leadership. He is a great example of how interns become executives. Please join me in congratulating UTC's Director of General Global Procurement, William Ampofo, 2013 Legacy Award winner.
So Valerie, is this your program tonight? You made me go after Curtis. I can't believe that. I can't believe this, you know. I thought I had a little bit more pull than that. But good evening, everyone. It's been a pleasure to be here this evening and see some friends and colleagues and family, some of which you haven't seen in some time. So it's a wonderful evening, and I'm delighted to be here and be honored with the rest of the honorees as a part of this tremendous celebratory experience. I want to take a brief moment, if you allow me, to recognize some of the folks that are in the room by way of acknowledgement that have had personal and professional influence in my life. First of which, Shelley Stewart. Shelley Stewart, gentleman to my left here, a longtime UTC employee, captain of industry for sure. He's was one of the first executives of color that I had an opportunity to come in contact with. So my first summer as an intern, INROADS throws many symposiums and events in the summertime, and Shelley was one of the panelists. And I've never told you this, Shelley, but as you participated on that panel along with Hansel Tooks and a handful of others, it gave me something to aspire to. And as fate would have it, I'm in the same profession field of supply management. I wasn't at the time. And I consistently lean upon Shelley for counsel and guidance. And our relationship has morphed from mentor to mentee to more of a friendship over the years. And I still call him for guidance. And I want to thank you for inspiring me. The second gentleman I want to introduce is Benjamin Robinson, another captain of industry in the financial services. Now, I met Benjamin later on in my career, but he's also been someone that has continually encouraged me, pushed me when I needed to be pushed, and provided that guidance and counsel. When I was waffling on whether I was going to go to B school this year or the next year, he said, listen, come down to my house and we get together, and we went over the essays, and you know what? He said, don't aim too low, William. Aim for the Harvards, the Penns, and it's because of him that I applied to those universities, and honestly, I got into a couple. I'll tell you, Ben, I admire you for your leadership and what you've done, and also for your counsel, and I appreciate you taking the trek to be here this evening. I also want to acknowledge my parents that are in the room, Larry and Liz, for making the personal sacrifices. I didn't always appreciate it at the time, but you made tremendous sacrifices for your children, investing in our education, because you knew that was the key to unlocking all the doors that would ever be closed in front of us, and we've been able to forge forward and open those doors. And pardon me for getting emotional, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. My brother is also in the room. My youngest brother, Brandon, he's also an INROADS alum, and he's in New York now. So thank you for coming and support Brandon. And last but not least, certainly not least, my wife, Kristen. We just celebrated our 7-year anniversary, and due to your unwavering support, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. So thank you, sweetheart, for all your support. So I began my INROADS journey along with Curtis. Actually, I came in a year after Curtis at Otis Elevator in the summer of 1993. And it was my first introduction to the corporate experience. But I'll tell you, I had a thirst for knowledge. I jumped right in with youthful exuberance. And for me, I'm sure the same would be said for Curtis, I had an opportunity to go into an organization, United Technologies, that had a rich history of supporting INROADS. And I say rich history because it provided the support network, not only from the leadership perspective, your immediate supervision, but also your executives across United Technologies. And because of that, I was able to get the foundation, or the foundation was laid certainly for what would become my 19-year career with United Technologies. So I was very fortunate in that regard. In retrospect, you know, folks say that the college years are some of the most memorable years of your life, and I could attest to that. You know, I had a ball in college. I played college basketball, played some games at Madison Square Garden, where hopefully the Knicks will pull one off tonight. And you know, the friendships, the relationships that you form in college are certainly ones that are lasting ones. The best man in my wedding was a gentleman I went to undergraduate with. But as I reflect upon my undergraduate years, I also think fondly about INROADS, because it was a critical part of my development during that time. And some of those relationships that I've established, Curtis being one of many, I still am in contact with today. And in addition to just the actual internship itself, UTC provided those critical life and personal skills, whether it be business etiquette, dressing for success, how do you like my tie? You know, and things of that nature. You know, where else could a 18 to 21-year-old college student get that? And it also provided me an opportunity to differentiate myself from some of my classmates and contemporaries. You know, it was a very competitive work environment when I came out of undergrad, and I had multiple offers, quite frankly. And I chose to come with UTC. They made an investment in me, and I felt obligated to make good on that investment, and it served me well. So I want to just say that as I look at INROADS and the vision and the dream that Frank Carr set out to accomplish in 1970, there has been tremendous progress, and INROADS has been a very, very critical part in shaping the face, or reshaping the face of corporate America. But there's still work to be done. You know, I did a little research, and as I looked at persons of colors, there's been 13 persons of colors that have been CEOs or chairmen of corporations, and there's 6 currently that are active. But the first one was in 1999. So Frank Carr founded INROADS in 1970. It took almost 30 years before there was a person of color to be in the C-suite as the chairman, and that was Mr. Franklin at Fannie Mae. 10 years later, there was the first woman of color, Ursula Burns, who was at Xerox Corporation, who happens to be one of my suppliers, so I have interaction with Ursula fairly frequently. So my point in saying all that is the journey doesn't stop here, and I'm tremendously honored to be a part of an organization, a pioneering organization such as INROADS, as an alum, and I'm very appreciative of the award that's being bestowed upon me this evening. So thank you all, and I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Dentea, and thank you and congratulations to our Legacy Award recipients. I'm very excited to be here tonight for a number of reasons, but If you did an MRI right now, you see the tears inside. And the reason you see them inside is because I can look in one of the portions of the room, and there's an alum from London. It's here today. I can also look at a former board chair, Tom Dolan, who on tonight, him and his wife, this is their anniversary. They came. And then again, I'm looking at alumni that had everything to do and be busy tonight, but they're here. And then I'm looking at parents tonight. So that's why you can't see the tears inside, but that's why emotional I am, and I'm excited. And also my daughter's here, so she's to report back. She's the informant on whether I, so anyway, I'm really excited also about seeing William and also Curtis receive due congratulations, and also to INROADS to see it happen. I talk about MIAN across the country, and I got to go and scribble my notes and get INROADS at the top of my notes, because corporations want to hear about the examples, not just the name, but the outcome. And tonight you're seeing outcomes of what we're doing. And so with that in mind, this fulfilled legacy is some of the best practices you're going to see across the country. But who would have thought that a dreamer and a nobelist would meet in the March on Washington? Frank Carr, the dreamer, the Nobel Prize winner, Martin Luther King. There were a lot of people that went to that march in Washington. A lot of people left with great intentions, but a few left with action plans. Frank Carr left with an action plan. And what unfolded was what we see here today. And that's why this is so exciting about Founders Day. And in that 50 years ago, wow, this August they're going to celebrate in the Mall in Washington the remarch of that march in Washington. You, everybody sitting in the room, is a part of that legacy because you've been touched one way or another in this room. So you've been touched by a Nobel Prize winner, you've been touched by a dreamer, and you've been touched by award winners tonight. And when I say that, you are the people who are building the foundation going forward. Frank Carr and Martin Luther King had courage and a commitment to action. That action resulted in Frank Carr resigning from his job, yes, resigning, to live that dream out. He quit his job just to do that, and devoting himself to build INROADS. And then Frank Carr spent days working tirelessly in Chicago, meeting with business leaders, seeking support for INROADS, the INROADS concept. And he spent his nights working as a computer operator on the Chicago and Northwestern Railway to support his family. And then what a Herculean effort that he put together to make a difference. And Frank had this thing about, you know, personally, he always said, you just got to put one foot in front of the other, and you'll make progress. And that's the endurance that he had. And that's why a lot of people knew that at some point in some time, it was all going to come true about INROADS. You know, we've evolved from 25 interns to 1,600 each year. And we have served and we've touched over 154,000, meaning somewhere, somehow, a student got help, whether they got an internship or not. That's service. And we should all be proud of whatever role you played in INROADS. And then now more than 225 stellar corporations, partners today, that work with INROADS to help us help people transform. And then also, think about it, he started with 17 corporations and 25 students. And look at us now. We really have evolved this era in terms of success. And now tonight, we honor a dynamic technology powerhouse who has led our top 10 list for intern placements for more than 6 consecutive years. And it looks like they're headed for a 7th. United Technologies Corporation. Let's give them a big hand. You know, as you know, we're just making an adjustment. Okay. So as you know, all of these exciting commitments and recognitions tonight doesn't come without saying, well, who made that first commitment? And our partner to receive the Enterprise Award tonight, we have seen 2 of the alumni from this great corporation, and it's been fortified with more than 3,000 internships over this 25-year history with INROADS. That's a commitment beyond just numbers. There are hundreds of INROADS alumni whose career paths began to lead to the success that UTC has unfolded. For more than a decade, UTC has been present about INROADS nationally and on our regional boards. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are today as the multiple companies that we are. We honor tonight, I announce, the 2013 Enterprise Award recipient, Luis Chenevert, the chairman of United Technologies Corporation. Let's give him a big hand. Accepting the award tonight on behalf of the chairman of UTC is also our keynote speaker, Senior Vice President, Human Resource and Organization, United Technology Corporation, Beth Amato. Please thank you, Beth. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I have a few minutes, and I was going to take that time to try to give you a little bit more insight into my great company, United Technologies. I'm afraid my words are going to fail because I can't compare with the testimonials you heard from our two wonderful employees, Curtis and William. I can't do it justice, so congratulations. I will say, though, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here tonight and to share the awards with such wonderful people, our friends also from MetLife, Gina, Daryl, and Maria. Congratulations, and thank you for what you do for this fine organization. And Forrest, thank you for your terrific words of support, leadership, and guidance that we all share and benefit from. We're proud to be here tonight, and I think you've heard the long-standing relationship that UTC has had with INROADS, starting in 1986 with just one INROADS intern at our Syracuse facility. That is, you've heard, grown to over 3,200 INROADS interns working across 23 states, including Mexico and Canada, and just continuing to do great things for us. Along with the internships we sponsor, however, we also are committed to work with the organization. So we serve on boards both nationally and regionally. We provide seminars and training for our students. We make charitable donations. And we really work together as a team and partner to help grow not only the INROADS organization, but our own organization as well through great talent. You know, when I think about, though, INROADS and UTC, what attracts us to this partnership and why it works is our similar backgrounds and history. You know, there are fundamental similarities between UTC and INROADS, and they go back to what we're celebrating here today, Founders Day. UTC's founders were pioneers and innovators in their fields. They had a vision, just as Frank Carr did. Their vision changed the way we live and work today. We are kept comfortable and our food is kept safe from our carrier businesses. We climb tall buildings thanks to Otis escalators and elevators. We fly on planes powered by Pratt & Whitney engines. And our country is kept safe by Black Hawk helicopters used by our naval and Army aviators. We have a terrific legacy and a strong history. And we are, like Mr. Carr, committed to the communities in which we work and live. In addition to INROADS, for example, community service is incredibly important to us. And just one example, and I'll put a plug in since I'm the executive chair for that too, we will be sponsoring over 90 teams in 22 states in this weekend's American Cancer Society Relay for Life. And I know individuals from the company that are with me here today are participating in that too. And it's just an example on the impact that we can have as corporate leaders and why it's important to us to do these things. Like Reverend Carr, we also have a commitment to education. And we are committed not only to the interns we bring into, but our employees. And our premier educational program, our Employee Scholar Program, reached a major milestone where we have invested over $1 billion in our employees to provide them with education and training and schooling, books, time off for any course of study they may want to have. It doesn't have to be related to work. So I'll put a plug into that for another commitment. With these activities, the legacies of Elijah Otis and Willis Carrier and Igor Sikorsky and Fred Rentschler are alive in the over 200,000 UTC employees who live and work and support their communities in over 70 countries around the world. INROADS, when we talk about, your history is as deep as ours as well. We feel that special connection with Frank Carr and the impact he had. A man who was a naval aviator in World War II, and after a successful career in corporate America, left that to found the INROADS organization. He gave back to his communities through education and service. He was deeply influenced, as we know, by the Reverend Martin Luther King and his own service to God, believing that to whom much is given, much is required. It's a tenet that is truly noteworthy and is really, I think, underscored why INROADS is as successful as it is. He used his talents, influence, and I don't know how else, to get corporate America, though, to buy into his vision. When you think about what he was proposing, he obviously was dynamic, energetic, passionate, and committed. He was an innovator, and in that way, he was like UTC's founders. And the legacy that he has given to support INROADS, especially through the men and women who are realizing their dreams today that we've heard about, that we've heard from, lives with us today. All of us in this room have been touched by that legacy, whether you're a corporate sponsor, an INROADS alumni, an intern, a parent, a spouse. We are here because we truly value and appreciate that work. And I think judging from what we've heard here tonight, that vision will go on and on and on. And for that, we are truly grateful at UTC. As we've talked about, we have seen students arrive to UTC as interns, grow, flourish, learn, and become key leaders in our businesses. I'm especially proud and privileged to be able to say that I've worked both personally with William when at time together at Pratt & Whitney, and Curtis, our time together at Carrier CCS, and the impact that they have had and will continue to have is one reason why we are just the great company we are. So as we gather here today for Founders Day, and we recognize not only corporations that support the mission and vision of INROADS, but the alumni who have fulfilled this legacy, and congratulations to you both. Our future is bright at UTC, but we need talent to do what's in front of us. At Pratt & Whitney, we're working on the next generation geared turbofan engine, which is a game changer in how we will fly around the world. Sikorsky, as I said, continues to deliver products to Army and Naval aviators, making America strong and safe. And at Otis and CCS, we're providing elevators and air conditioning and security systems for buildings around the world. And in order to do all this, we need talent, and with that, we will continue to support INROADS and the mission that they provide. It's a great partnership for us. We get a lot out of it, but in turn, we also feel we must give and give back. And in so doing, it's my pleasure to inform you, Forrest, tonight that we are providing INROADS with a donation of $100,000 for the INROADS program.
Tonight's final honoree has been recognized by the prestigious institutions such as Catalyst, the YWCA Academy of Women, the Profiles of Diversity Journal magazine as a leader to watch. I can't look at her because I have a relationship and working together that I get emotional. A leader that wears the mission of INROADS from her mind, her heart, and her sleeve. I'm talking about Maria Morris. Even during the toughest times of our economy, Maria has defied the status quo, wrapped tightly with fiscal discipline and strategic focus on the mission of INROADS. Today, we are better because of her leadership and can serve those students, communities, parents, businesses, and industries with the goal of diversity and inclusion from the college campus to the C-suite. Over the last 2 years, I've had the pleasure, along with other board members, to work side by side with the leading efforts around INROADS progression to the next 40 years. And in doing so, I get a special insight, as we talk weekly. Saturdays, Fridays, Mondays. Thanks, Barry. Really appreciate that. Sundays. But that's the mission, and that's the mission calling. And I can't think of a better person I would want to be with to have the mission call with. But it's about sustaining and being innovative, about the organization's mission comes first. But that's not the only thing she does as a visionary leader. Whether it's the All-Stars Project or INROADS, she's in it 110% every single time. As a CEO of an organization such as a storied history as INROADS, and a mission that has advantages for us to be able to get through business and industry and to be able to give back to the community, Maria Morris is a quintessential leader in the challenges and the status quo in whatever we do, to look higher, to think broader, brighter, and more focused on what we do, because it enables us to be more than what we think we're capable of being. My mother used to always say, there are 2 times when you want your name said in public. One, your high school graduation, because that tells everybody you made it back from senior day, right? The second is when the recognition you're about to receive is immeasurable. And tonight, you may not know a little bit about the connection between an award that Frank Carr got and the visionary leader we're going to present in just a second.